Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So today, some of you are going to think I'm pretty crazy, and I expect that, but I'm purposely taking this video and I wanted to get your guys' opinion. Even though I think I know what the majority will say, I'm still going to ask it anyway and see what you guys think. But before, we'll do a peanut feature. Say hi. Hi. Crushed it. Alright, so not a bad sight here, right? I guess it looks strange with the Ford logo in the background, but I have been presented with an opportunity to get a Tacoma TRD Pro. So I have had one of these before. I had the 2017 model, which is nearly identical to this one here. Obviously you got a few additional things. You got the Toyota safety sense, new headlights, what else? We got new wheels on it, same suspension setup. I don't think mine actually had a sunroof, if I recall. I don't think mine actually did. So that would be something that this one has that mine did not. So what do I mean? I want to kind of pitch this to you guys and tell me what you think. So let me preface it with, of course, I do not need it. So that's the most important part. But with this whole coronavirus thing going on, I have been presented with an opportunity to get one of these for a really good deal. And what I mean by that is we're talking maybe $1,500, $1,000-ish underneath invoice. So invoice for the one that I would be getting is right around $43,000. So, and you know, the deal I would be getting is, you know, maybe right around $500 to $1,000 less than that, depending on how it ends up looking. So right around $42,500. I could potentially get Tacoma here. Same color, army green, of course. This one, I should have made this clear from the beginning. This is not the exact one I would get. This is the same one I showed you guys the other day. This is an automatic. So let me zoom in here a little bit better. So $48,278. That is the, there you go, up there. Standard MSRP with the additional bits on it, you know, delivery charge, all that stuff. This one's the automatic. Don't touch it, Peanut. Up, up. The one I would be getting is the manual. So the manual is $46,000 and change, I believe, or maybe to high 45 for the MSRP. So a little bit cheaper with the manual. The manual, you don't get the keyless entry. So like this right here, you get the keyless entry. You put your hand in here and it opens for you. You can put your finger here and it unlocks. Don't pull on it, little bug. So you do not get that with the manual. What else do you not get? So with the manual, you also have just a standard key, right? The turn key, whereas you don't have the push to start, which is kind of a bummer. I personally really like that about the Tundra and the 4Runner that I got. I'm gonna walk over here real quick. So really, I mean, you guys know TRD Pros, they are difficult to get at MSRP oftentimes. I think the Tacoma is most likely, you're most likely to get a Tacoma TRD Pro at MSRP. Maybe neck and neck with the Tundra. The Tundra and Tacoma tend to be the easier ones to get at MSRP. The 4Runners, from my experience, they tend to be a little bit more desirable. So they tend to run that $5,000, sometimes $10,000, depending where you're at, markup on them. And they're more likely to actually get that. With the Tacoma, this one here in particular, even though they have this markup, I showed you guys this before. So I mean, they're asking right around $55,000 for it. So they have that $5,000 markup on it as is. I talked to them yesterday on the phone, and you know, they're willing to do $2,000 below MSRP. So even they, with the markup, are quick to drop it down to MSRP, below MSRP, just given the current economic standpoint, right, with the whole coronavirus stuff going on. Well, that's what they said, at least. So not a whole lot of foot traffic in dealerships. I purposely make it a point to come on out here on Sundays so I can actually walk around without, you know, salesmen coming out here to shark me. But I wanted to pitch that to you guys I don't need it. Make that clear, obviously. I mean, I got the Tundra. I'm not going to trade in the Tundra. Not going to trade in the 4Runner either. So I don't need it. However, having owned a Tacoma TRD Pro before, I know that they hold value extremely well. I know the Tundra will as well, but I know for a fact the Tacoma did. I put over 35,000 miles-ish, I think, on the Tacoma I had, and I still traded it in for, I think, 39,000. And I had paid 41 or 42 at that time for mine when I bought it. So I put 35,000 miles on it, had it for, I think, just over 2 years. And I only lost a few $1,000s on it, $2,000 or $3,000 on it, which blew my mind. So if I'm able to get one of these, a manual, which if you guys know anything about the Tacomas, that tends to be the only gripe about it, really, aside from the size, right? If you got a family, it's not the most conducive, but it still works, of course. But the number one complaint people have about it is the automatic transmission. It's just being a little bit finicky. Doesn't really shift at the good points, right? Doesn't feel right for a lot of people. So that is a major complaint that people do have on it. Whereas obviously with the manual, I won't have that issue. So a lot of people actually recommend getting the manual over the automatic there. So let's talk numbers though. Less than 5% of all Tacomas actually come in a manual transmission. So what does that mean? It means a couple things. It means the most obvious bit is, just people don't tend to buy them anymore. So it is the millennial anti-theft mechanism, if you will. So just not a whole lot of folks actually know how to drive stick shift anymore. So there's a component of it. And the fact that, it's just not as popular in manufacturers. They just don't sell as well, right? And those go hand in hand, of course. But I think that's a good thing in the long run. The people who really desire these cars or these rigs, and I think maybe even down the road, with the specialty color included, there could be some goodness to the fact of it having a manual transmission. Hello, Bug. You having fun? For some reason, she always does look forward to popping out and doing car videos. It's becoming our thing, unfortunately. I shouldn't say unfortunately, but she likes it. So anyways, guys, I want to run that by you. Tell me what you think. Am I being ridiculous? Because I don't need it. But if I can get one for right around $42,000, drive it, enjoy it, for maybe 2 or 3 years, and still only lose a few $1,000s on it potentially, I think that's a pretty cool gig. Especially with the full manufacturing of these going to Mexico starting in the year 2022, production year 2022. I feel like if there's a time to get a Tacoma TRD Pro, it would be now, before they make that switch over to full up in Mexico. So, as you guys know, my final note with you is I originally downsized. This is maybe TMI, but I originally downsized from my Raptor to get the quote-unquote downsize to the Tundra here for financial reasons. When we moved into our house that we live in right now, we're totally debt-free, right? We didn't have any car loans out, no debt on credit cards or anything like that. And we were able to get, the best possible home loan, as well as the best home loan rate. So when we found out that we were moving in July, we wanted to be able to get that same exact thing. And I did have a loan on the Raptor. That was my only loan that I had out on my cars. So I purposely wanted to try to get rid of that. So by downsizing, quote unquote, to the Tundra here, it put us in a position where we could pay it off before July, and again, go into our next location, being able to buy a really nice house to get the best possible rate. So that's what we ended up doing in the first place, only to find out, a month ago, 2 months ago, that the location we're going to will not be for 3 or 4 years, but instead it will be for 1 year. So we are not going to be purchasing a house at the next location we're going, which puts us in a position where if I want to, I can buy another rig. So I can have another vehicle loan out if I'd like to. I don't need to pay it all off before we leave, because we're going to be renting versus buying a house. So TMI, but that's kind of the big snapshot there. And if you guys watched my last video, you saw that I'm really interested in Toyota FJ Cruisers, specifically the Trail Teams edition. I really like the 2013 cement gray. Obviously they got the army green, other cool variants. They got the radiant red. I really like those, but I don't know if I'm gonna spend $30,000 to $35,000 on another rig. I mean, might as well just spend a few thousand more and get a brand new one that matches our other ones here. Is 4-door, right? Even though again it isn't very spacious, it still is 4-door and a little bit more conducive. For this little one here. You okay, little bug? You wanna say hi to mommy? Okay.
Hi.
All right. I'll be right back. All right, so we'll wrap up the video with that. If I don't end up getting the Tacoma, I may likely just get the FJ Cruiser, which you guys know their value is remaining pretty stagnant and or going up. So, I mean, I think they're a pretty good quote-unquote investment, if you can even say that word with purchasing a vehicle. But so it's really between the two, and at least with the Tacoma here, it is 4-door, whereas the FJ Cruiser is that 2-door, but it has the suicide doors, if you will, in the back. So, but at any rate, I will wrap up the video there. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you watching as always. Till next time.